My name is Helen Gilbert, and I want to welcome you to the home of Radical Women and the Freedom Socialist Party. Especially welcome to Ramona Bennett and her family and friends who are honoring us with being able to sponsor this book for me tonight. The book, as you might have guessed, is Fighting for the Puyallup Tribe, which is certainly what Ramona has done. We want to start by recognizing that we are on the stolen lands of Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup Tribe, which faces the insult and injury of being unrecognized by the federal government. And let's also give a special welcome to Puyallup Tribal Chair Cecile Hansen, who is here with us tonight. Thank you for all the work you're doing, and we will be hearing from Cecile again tonight too. That was just the teaser.
I don't run on Indian time. Ready to go.
So our program tonight celebrates the fight of Puyallup, Duwamish, Nisqually, and other tribes across the continent to preserve treaty rights in a livable environment. We recognize the crucial role played by Native women in this struggle and pledge to continue our active solidarity with the Native American movement in the fight for justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women. In case you haven't been here before, let me say a few words about the sponsors, Radical Women and the Freedom Socialist Party. We are a socialist feminist sister organizations. We defend women's rights and leadership and organize against fascism, transphobia, and racism. We work to build alliances to fight all the injustices of capitalism. Our collaboration with Ramona and other Native fighters goes back to our earliest days in the 1960s and 70s. Tonight's program is a simple one. I'll start by telling you a little bit about Ramona's book, then we'll have some of her friends and fans speak about what her leadership and achievements have meant to them. Ramona will have a chance to share her thoughts, and then we adjourn to buy books. Is that fine with everybody? Okay. And I also want to thank the people who provided the snacks tonight, which is Emma, Jill, Rachel, and Suki. So, and Radical is taking donations for those as a benefit for our organization. So, on the book. I finished Ramona's book last night. I finished it. It's really wonderful. It's wonderful reading. And I'm struck by many things, but also how she boils down crucial and little-known history about the original culture of the Pacific Northwest tribes, theft of the land by settler violence and murder, and the forcible indoctrination of Native children. Through these stories, the consistent leadership and bravery of Indigenous women shines through in a reflection of the matriarchal traditions of most Native peoples. The Pacific Northwest Indian movement exploded in the 1960s in bloody battles for the right to fish, which was the foundation of the tribe's food, culture, and economy. And Ramona was there, getting tear-gassed, risking her life, getting beat up and arrested numerous times by racist game wardens and other representatives of the state. Ramona tells of how she, as an elected member of the tribal council, connected with other Indian warriors in the takeover of Alcatraz prison in San Francisco Bay, the occupation of the BIA building in Washington, D.C., and the reclaiming of property at Fort Lawton here in Seattle. Ramona tells how she, as tribal chairperson, led the dramatic 7-day armed takeover of the Cascadia Juvenile Detention Center, which had been promised to the Puyallups as an Indian hospital. And we're proud to say that 2 members of Radical Women and FSP went down the first day we heard of the occupation, and they stayed there to support the tribe and the insurgents until the agreement was reached.
That's right.
The book reveals Ramona's leadership style, honest, audacious, and collaborative. Her tactics were bold, imaginative, and strategic. And you learn about other courageous leaders in her book, such as Suzette and Sid Mills, Maisel Bridges, Hank Adams, Clyde Bill, and many, many more. Ramona knew that preserving the tribes ultimately meant keeping Indigenous children in their communities, and her efforts helped lay the basis for the Indian Child Welfare Act. She and Clyde personally raised what seems like countless numbers of close and extended family members, foster children, and kids in trouble. It was exciting to read in the book about some of Ramona's favorite stories about her association with radical women. Many of those she's told here before. But one that I hadn't remembered is how, in the midst of the Cascadia takeover, Clara Fraser, our founder of Radical Women and Freedom Socialist Party, went down to interview her. And they kept that conversation going till they were done, despite the fact that the state was threatening to blow the building up any minute. Those are some tough women. Can't stop them from the crowd when they're talking. But Ramona also was not only an armed combatant. She fought with legal savvy, technical skills, and administrative expertise. Having learned the subversive skill of typing at Franklin High School, just up Rainier, she put it to good use in the movement and in writing her book. In her conclusion, Ramona reminds us that the battles are far from over. She and the Puyallups are still fighting the liquid natural gas plant in Tacoma Harbor. They're protesting the horrors of the Northwest Immigrant Detention Center on Tacoma's soil, and still fighting to preserve the salmon and the environment. And Radical Women really appreciates Ramona's solidarity ongoing with the work for reproductive justice. The times are different now than they were in the 1960s and 70s. At that time, massive civil rights movements, anti-war struggles, and anti-poverty campaigns were really rocking the system. And sometimes battles could be won by those willing to push hard enough and strategically enough, because the government was trying to keep a revolution from erupting, literally. We need to build those movements again today and build that revolution too. And a good guide for that struggle is in Ramona Bennett's book, Ramona Bennett Bill book. So that's a taste of the book, and now we have a chance to hear what other people have to say about the author. Their comments will be brief so we can hear from Ramona also, and still have plenty of time to sample the book. So first I'd like to invite up Cecile Hansen to speak from the Duwamish Tribe. Tribal chairwoman since 1975. She began as a fighter for fishing rights and took up the battle for recognition of the Duwamish Tribe and treaty rights, and is the great niece of Chief Seattle. Welcome, Cecilia.
It's always nice for people to talk about how many years I've been involved with the Duwamish Tribe. But I'm honored to say a few words of this lady, my friend, because we go back to when it was, that hospital was Cushman. Yes. Another, I was just telling one of my members of my family that when I had my tonsils out when I was 3 years old there. Many years ago. Okay, I have a few words. I want to say this. Because my daughter printed this for me. She said, I wrote something, Mom, you said it, okay? She said, good evening, everyone. This is what she said. Thank you for all being here tonight to celebrate my longtime friend, Ramona Bennett. And you got another name? Bill? It's an honor to welcome you to this gathering in her honor. Ramona has always been a strong voice for her people and a true fighter for tribal sovereignty. As Indian leaders, that's what we do. And I don't know, you're the former chairperson of the Duwamish Tribe. Oh, what did I say? You can't take over mine. I'm okay. I'm right at this one. No, I'm sorry. What I should have said, as a former chair of the Puyallup Tribe, sorry. I brought up Duwamish, but I've been involved since I was elected in 1970. I'll tell you a little story about why I got involved. I was a stay-at-home mom taking care of my children. I had 5 daughters, and I had 3 that I was taking care of. And then my brother was fishing in the Duwamish River, and they were trying to sight him for fishing there. And where I lived was about 2 or 3 miles from the river. So when he'd run away and throw his fish on the bank there, he'd come to my house to rant and rave and calm down. Well, this one particular day he came and he says, after he calmed down, he said, "You know what? You got to get involved." And I said, "I'm just a stay-at-home mom." I said, "What do I have to do?" He said, "Oh, just go to a few meetings." And here I am. Anyway, she led with heart and determination, and that's true. She never backed down when it came to protecting what matters, as we all did. She was a dear friend to me and to the Duwamish people. Her leadership has made a difference not just for her own tribe, but for many of us across the region. Ramona, I want to thank you for everything you've done and continue to do. And we're proud to stand with you and celebrate this moment. And I'm glad that I had the honor to come down and say a few words, even though I got sidetracked on my documented version of what I'm supposed to say. But that's what I do because as the chairman of the Duwamish Tribe, I thought that me advocating for get fishing rights for the Duwamish people, it hasn't come yet. I had one of my brothers say, she said, "Did you see any of those people fishing in the river?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, we know who they are, don't we, Ramona? They're in the river." I think I told a lady here where I said, those group of people never signed the Point Elliott Treaty in 1855. The first signer of the Point Elliott of 1855 was the Duwamish people under the leadership of the Chief Sealth and his people. And that's a fact. I'm not making that up. But we're still not acknowledged, even though we've been battling all these years. We did get the recognition in 2002-1, and then I got the notice by a phone call, or no, I got a letter, a phone call, and then 3 days later, they took the acknowledgement away from the Duwamish Tribe. But this is the reason I hang on there, because of the fishing rights. I don't know who would want to fish in the Duwamish River. It's probably just no good. I don't know, I don't fish, so, but the point is, you know, was for get fishing rights. I think it's what I'm trying to, is get the acknowledgement back for the Duwamish Tribe. And as the ancestor, I feel very proud to do so. Anyway, I'm very, very happy to be here, share a few words, crack a few jokes, tell the truth. Yeah. I don't make this up. But I had a lot of fun interacting with Ramona when I'd come down to Tacoma, and we'd meet and we'd do our thing together. And I honor her because she's been my friend that many years, a few years. And so as we all get older, I don't like to claim it either, but I do want to say that I advocate on behalf of the Duwamish Tribe and other tribes who has been, and we're not the only unacknowledged tribe across the United States. I've read so many times of tribes who are fighting for the acknowledgement, and it's really, really bad because as Native people, who in the heck was here first besides Native Americans? Right. Anyway, I rest my case. Yeah. I'm going to adjourn, though. I was going to say, I want to take off. I was saying, I want to adjourn and take off. But I got to call my family because they're waiting for me to get the call. So give me a call and they'll come pick me up so I can go home. And I made a, what did I say? I made a quiche. Oh, hey. I said, I'll go home and come and pick me up and I'll go home and I'll eat my quiche I made before I came down here. Listen, I love you, take care. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm happy to know that we are going to be selling,
Right, you can also get your copies of Ramona's book at the Duwamish Longhouse very soon. Enjoy the quiche. Next, I'd like to invite Matt Remley to join us up at the microphone. Matt is a member of the Lakota Tribe and runs the Tribal Education Department at the Marysville School District. He was a key organizer for getting the city to adopt Indigenous Peoples Day in place of Columbus Day. Organizing here in solidarity with Standing Rock, the battle in Dakotas. Thank you.
Chante washte na pe choose apelo la koya wakia wanatana machi apelo wechichu ya ma remle machi apelo ya waslaha e mataha na ina Donna Harrison chiapi na ate Charles Remle chiapi o papa la kota e macha na petokile wawashte oha na ha happy gile wawashte oha ichi Nukshila gile Leila Washake Chante Mawashte. Well, good evening, everybody. My Lakota name is Wakia Manatan. English name is Matt Remley. I'm a Papa Lakota from Standing Rock, and I'll let you know who my parents are, who my family is, and very grateful and honored to be here tonight because in our language, we say Nukhchala, a woman of wisdom, and that's absolutely what you are to not only me but to many of us. And it's a beautiful evening, and my heart feels good to be here. On my way down, I was trying to remember the first time I was in a space with you. And I remembered it was for some free Peltier, which finally happened. Back in the 90s, and I remember the rallies that used to be down there in Puyallup. We'd march down to the federal building. And I can't remember exactly which year it was, but I remember it was freezing cold out. We were down at the courthouse, and Ramona was given a microphone, and I was just blown away by her stories. And I remember her starting to talk about putting Leonard in the trunk of a car post the shootout in South Dakota and taking him up to Canada. I was like, what the heck? I remember someone actually went up to her, like, maybe you shouldn't be saying those things. I don't care, you know. That's who I want to be. I want to be like that, fierce, and in the face of the repression, in the face of the genocide. And since then, I've been in many, usually out in the streets, typically where we've shared spaces with the LNG. You're very supportive of our effort to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline and Standing Rock and many other spaces. And then to come to find all of this other work that you have touched and been involved with that impacts all of us to this day. The Indian Child Welfare Act, something that my wife went through in her younger years. The education, all these things that you've laid out that benefited not only Puyallup but all Native peoples is very beautiful. And so I just want to express my gratitude. I remember actually at that rally, we sang some of our songs, and you came up to me, I don't think you knew me at that point, and just said, I like your Sioux songs. We like your Sioux songs. So that's all I can really offer back. So I'm going to offer up a song for you, okay?
I told you to come down to Sweat Lodge.
Come down to Sweat Lodge, okay, for the Sioux songs? I believe that's... So we'll see one of those tonight then.
We got lots of Sioux too.
You got a lot of Sioux too. We're kind of everywhere.
My kids are laughing. Don't he sing pretty?
Thank you. And even the dog didn't mind. We were worried about the dog. The dog's good. Okay. I'd like to invite Ramona's daughter, Abisu, to come. She is Ramona's daughter, and a right-hand woman, driving a wheelchair, driving a van, and we really appreciate you keeping Ramona well and happy.
My name is Abisu, her youngest daughter, her youngest biological daughter. She has a lot of kids. Speaking to the horn.
I'd say talking to the horn, Gary.
She always says that to me. I'm just grateful to be here today with all of you. I grew up coming to Radical Women all my life and getting to partake in all the rallies and all the fun things that my mom took all her kids to do. And I'm just super grateful I'm grateful that she got to write her book. And
Yes.
all my life she said, I'm gonna put that in my book, I'm gonna put that in. And she wrote her book. But now she's gonna write another book too. Yeah. I don't know, I don't really know what to say other than I feel like I'm probably one of the luckiest girls in the world to have a mom like her. All her sacrifices and all the love that she has for her people, she definitely has that for me and all of my siblings and all the kids that she's raised. And you probably don't know, my mom she has something for kids that need families, and so I grew up with a huge family, you know. So I have lots of siblings, lots of brothers and sisters, and nieces and nephews. And, yeah, it's been a really great life, and she continues to do all the things that she's always done, you know, and I'm grateful that I could be right here with her and, you know, support her and just share this time and space with her. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see and witness and be part of. I know she really loves everything about radical women, and she's just a really good mentor and role model. And yeah, I'm super blessed. I'm very lucky. Thank you for your song too. We do sing a lot of Lakota songs too. My son is Lakota, so she loves it. It's a Sundance song.
You feel right at
You definitely will feel right at home at our sweat lodge. We have a huge sweat lodge. We sweat twice a week, on Wednesday at 6 and Saturday during football season at 4. After football season, we go to Sunday. But yeah, I'm just super grateful to be here. Thank you guys for acknowledging her. And she is a living legend, and she just is the wisest, most ethical, the best person that I know. I follow her anywhere she goes because she'll never steer us wrong, So, thank you. Thank you guys.
When he says wash day, which means good, I expect someone to say good, clean clothes.
I think we're not that, nobody knows about wash day anymore. I'd like to ask Gary Hoggerston to come up to say a few words. Gary's going to speak some statement from Radical Women, but also share remarks from Yvonne Swan-Monroe. Gary's a longtime leader of Radical Women. He worked closely with the Northwest Indian Women's Circle and Janet McLeod in the 1980s. And she and Bird Wilson, who was a Black and Indigenous member of Radical Women, accompanied that group to the Black Hills Survival Gathering in North Dakota in 1980. Gary's presenting a message from Yvonne Monroe Swan from the Confederated Colville Tribes. And Yvonne was waged an internationally publicized case in the 1970s after she killed a sexual predator who was attacking her young son. Her defense movement established important law on women's right to self-defense and shone a light on issues of Native rights and the safety of Indigenous women and children.
Good evening. I think that I have worked a lot with Native American women over the, oops, okay. I have worked a lot with Native American women over the last 4 or 5 decades. And, Radical Women believes in women's leadership and fights for women's leadership in all the movements. And we've made progress, but not enough, I just like to say. And we talk about the matriarchy. We study the idea of the matriarchy and matriarchal society. And it was Ramona Bennett and other women that we worked with over the years that really taught us what matriarchal society could be and what women's leadership means, the courage of women's leadership. So thinking tonight, what I would say about Ramona and the book, I started thinking about all the women that we have fought with and worked with over the years, Native American women. One of them was, and I want to say just a few words about a few of them, was Julie Evening Lily, whose child, Aaron, was kidnapped by a white father, taken to another state, and despite having custody of her child, Julie was herself charged with kidnapping when she took Aaron back, and she fought for years and years and was finally not sent to prison. I remember she said, they treat me like an Indian uprising for not staying nice and quiet. There was Mary Puyallup, who was or is an Ojibwe woman who fought a race discrimination and sexual harassment suit against the federal government of Canada. She fought for 8 years and she finally won. And guess how much back pay they gave her? Back pay for 2 years. So it was, but it's that spirit of fighting. There was fishing rights activist Dee Johnson, Sally Fixico, who is behind you, pictured in that beautiful poster, along with Barbara Means, Janet McLeod, and Yvonne. There is Standing Rock water protector, Red Fawn. Our Radical Women organizer went to Standing Rock along with a member of the Freedom Socialist Party. At the time, the struggle was really heating up there. Midge Ward, who was a reproductive rights activist and an RW member. Janet McLeod, her daughters, and all the other young women in the Northwest Indian Women's Circle. Along with Ann Rogers, longtime RW member and leader in United Front Against Fascism. These women, along with Ramona, as well as many others, remain for us fearless and profound teachers and role models and our sisters. Among these proud fighters is Ramona Bennett, which everybody in this room probably already knows. She's the warrior of all warriors. I mean, she's the only one I know who led an armed takeover of state property and won. I'm so glad she's written this book.
But I'm still alive.
Without the knowledge of what has been won and lost through our oppressed people's history, and that includes all women on the face of the earth, it is impossible to carry the struggle forward. The first question, when I greeted Ramona tonight, that she asked me, have you read the book? I said, oh, I love the book, it's so beautiful. She said, have you read it? No. I have not read it, Ramona. but knowing Ramona, I know she's not going to mince any words. She'll tell you what she thinks and where the bodies are buried. That goes along with her wonderful sense of humor, her instinct for solidarity, and her generosity. She's a natural-born radical woman, small r, small w, and has been our privilege to work with you all these years. Thank you. And now I'm going to read a statement from Yvonne, and I emailed her, and Helen emailed her to let her know about the event tonight, but she's over east of the mountains and she said she couldn't come, but she sent this message. It's just wonderful that Ramona has written her story. I was so proud of her and all the other people who fought so hard, laying their lives on the line for their right to life on Indigenous land. What warriors, never backing down. At the time of the fishing rights struggle, I was dealing with the sudden death of my 3-year-old daughter when I first heard about the battles Ramona and others were fighting, and I was hoping that they'd all be safe. They were up against crazed sportsmen, and I can attest to that, and greedy leadership, and they fought with courage. Later, Yvonne was fighting to stay out of jail in her self-defense case, but she goes on, I was so proud of them. I've long since gotten the word worry out of my vocabulary because I know our hearts and minds were in sync and our concerns were for all our people's natural rights. Thank you, Ramona, for your love and dedication for our people. I can't wait to read your book.
On January 6th, a couple of years ago, Gary and I had a conversation. Did we say, did the revolution start when we weren't invited? And we said, oh my God, it's the wrong people. Why is it bad?
All right, we'll set the date. I do want to say we referred to Clara Fraser's interview with Ramona at Cascadia in the midst of the takeover, and that interview is on the board back here, so we can take a look. It was accompanied by some drawings that were done. Our camera wasn't working too good that day, I guess, but there's some drawings of that interaction. And other photos in a special issue of the Freedom Socialist from that event taken by Lenore Norgard, who's here with us tonight, sitting there in the back, who was one of the people who was there at Now I'd like to invite Doug Barnes to come up. Doug is a longtime organizer for the Seattle and National Freedom Socialist Party, and he's been part of many Native American struggles and documented many actions as a photographer.
Thanks, Alan, and good evening, Ramona. I was just thinking about how exciting it was for the book to come out, and our comrades in the Freedom Socialist Party wanted to really see your life in print and to see and understand the struggles that you went through, especially some of the younger comrades that weren't around at the time. And it's really, what better time than now to envision an earth for all of its people and all of its creations, which is what your book has really done. I remembered working with comrades that were heading down to Cascadia when the takeovers took place, and they were really thrilled when they got a phone call from Ramona saying, we need a big sign that says Chief Leshai Indian Medical Building. So they made a big sign and took it down there and put it up on the building, and you can see pictures of it on the, there's a reprint of Claire's interview that's over here by the table. You can look at it and see the picture of the banner.
It was the climb. The only way to go was up.
Right. and they stayed down, the crew stayed down there and took pictures and helped with everything from security to quite a lot of exciting visits with new people coming in daily to help. And after the Puyallup refused to leave their building, I went back to give Ramona some of the photos, and she said, well, I had written something about the occupation. She said, well, we took back something that was ours to begin with. I mean, that was the main point she made about it, and then it was a fight that they were going to continue fighting as well for both the children that were abused in those centers and the tribe's right to have decent medical coverage. So Ramona always hits the nail on the head when you're wobbling around and talking about something, which helps clarify it. But this was also in the middle of larger fish wars, and I went out and talked to some of the other tribes, and my eyes were opened in that regard as well, because the Duwamish were being shot at and rocks thrown off the first South Bridge on the top of them. The upper, let's see. Well, the Nisqually people, who along with the Puyallup fishers fought the game wardens, as you all heard about. But before that, on the upper Skagit River near Concrete, I saw the fishers standing on the tiny bows of their boats going down the river, throwing nets out and then being shot at by sports fishermen. So I think that from everything from concrete Washington to the Duwamish to the other tribes that fought, which a lot of us heard about and were involved with the fights with Dick Gregory and Jane Fonda and Marlon Brando helping to add their support. Helped the Puyallups and Nisquallies who had their own battles. And the war resurfaced again in 1999 as racist and misguided conservationists came out in protests shouting, "Kill a macaw, save a whale," down at the federal building. And the macaw were attempting to exercise their treaty rights to harvest a few gray whales for subsistence. And for that reason they were shouted down, and we shouted back, "Treaty rights now, refuse to back down." But Ramona's not just a fighter, but a movement builder. She realizes the interdependence and the solidarity needed to effectively change things. When she visited our hall, many times she brought an ice chest full of salmon to nourish the fight. When our party was faced with a legal battle to seize the hall by a former member, they were attempting to get our minutes and membership lists and information that we held private. And she immediately signed a public statement saying, this is the same thing that they did to me after Cascadia. They were demanding the names of everyone that went there, 1,500 people that went there, and lists. And she said, no. She said publicly, we didn't do that and they shouldn't do that either, and supported us. And with the support of hundreds of individuals and organizations, we won that case and a legal precedent that's still used today to safeguard our rights as organizations. Ramona, you certainly had your hands in a lot of the action, and your book outlines dozens and dozens of people and campaigns that make up the mosaic of your life. As one of the early and outspoken women leaders in the Pacific Northwest, you have a long history of leading by example and also by recognizing others who fight alongside you. So thank you, Ramona, very much. And in closing, I just wanted to say that Robert Free Galvin, who's wanted to be here but is fighting some health issues, was a member of the American Indian movement who helped occupy Alcatraz and also has worked with Ramona for many years. He's a Nahua and Tiwa activist, and something he said seemed to be like a good way to look at the fight for tribal rights today. This June, he was quoted in the San Francisco Chronicle newspaper about Trump rehanging the portrait of Andrew Jackson in the Oval Office, which signified Trump's admiration for a predecessor who instigated the Trail of Tears in the 1830s that forced thousands of indigenous people on a deadly march. In response, Robert said, the message to all Indian country is don't get comfortable. It's an endless battle. He's just another battle with another Andrew Jackson.
Thank you, Doug. I'd like to invite Tricia Miller to come up. Where are you, Tricia? There's one. Tricia is an electrician, another in a long line of women electricians, and just wired Ramona's house. So she brought it here, expose her to some other radical women. So,
I'm Tricia, not much of a public speaker, but Ramona asked me to, so I have to. I just want to say how grateful I am to be here, and then, with just being here with the radical women and their movement and everything, three of the three members from the people or women who started this group. They were the first female electricians in the country. And I think that is super cool and badass. I was talking to Ramona about some of the struggles I have faced as a woman electrician in the field when I started 10 years ago, and men telling me that I should quit and that I didn't belong there, and I can only imagine how much worse it was for them. And I'm just super grateful that they did that and opened the door for women like me who want to work in the fields and who can work in the fields.
Basic Clara Fraser.
Yes, very much so.
Say her name.
Claire Fraser,
That's their hero.
Shiro.
yeah, no, she's amazing. And then I also just want to thank Ramona too for bringing me here, and everything you do is just amazing. You're such a loving, kind person, and you raised your family to be that. And when I met your guys' family, I was so lost, and I didn't grow up in a loving family home or anything, and you guys kind of gave me a home, and I'm grateful for it, and I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'd like to ask Lena Benedict to come up. Lena is going to convey a message from Radical member Ann Rogers. Lena, first we'll say Lena. Lena Benedict is a member of Radical Women and the Comrades of Color Caucus of the Radical Women and Freedom Socialist Party, which is the leadership caucus of the Comrades of Color in their organizations. The statement she's going to read is from Ann Rogers, who's a Chippewa member of Radical Women and Freedom Socialist Party. Ann is now 99 years old, going strong and living with her daughter. She's got her feet, Ramona. Living in Utah with her daughter. Ann was part of the coalitions to defend Leonard Peltier and many other Native organizing efforts, and was also a leader in United Front Against Fascism.
Okay, and this is what Ann Rogers has to say. Thank you, Ramona, for writing this book. It's coming out at the perfect time to educate the Puyallup Tribe and all activists about the fights that come before now, and to prepare us for the fights to come. Some of the stories you tell of the efforts to destroy the tribes and deprive Indian kids of their culture remind me of my own background growing up in rural Washington near Bellingham. My father felt he had to blend into the white population because of the intense racism against Indians. My sisters and I didn't learn about our heritage until we were adults. But then I found it easy to identify with Native culture and the struggle for tribal rights and sovereignty. We share a bond of respect for women, collective ways of operating, and never giving up our rights. Thank you for leading the way, Ramona.
I think they like you, Ramona. Thank you very much for all you've done. And now we get to hear from the author herself. So let me hand you the modern talking stick. Here are the microphone. Would you like to say?
It's on the wrong.
A few.
However many you like.
Me, a few. I want y'all to know I wasn't really invited here. I called and was talking to Helen or Gina or Gary or somebody, and they said they were having a meeting here, actually two. And I picked this one because most of you were going to be here. So I crashed your meeting. I'm glad I did because I miss you guys. Tacoma is a long way away. I won't be all pitiful and say I don't drive anymore, because I have people that will drive me. In fact, when I said I was coming here, everybody wanted to come with me. The last time we came, I think we all had matching shirts that said no LSG and a 253, something like that. We looked like a chorus line. So cute. But, you know, everything that everybody said made me think of things that I could say, but you know, I did learn how to type at Franklin. I did live in Rainier Beach. You know, this is my hood. And, I love that you guys moved here from down by Ivers. That was a nice building, Carrie.
Sorry.
It was.
Oh my God.
But this is better. I like it better. It's brighter.
Fix this before it does it again.
Somehow, and the Royal Esquire right next door, that used to be an after-hours club I like to go to. They always had really good music.
Yeah,
I always liked really good music. And I like to dance. And I still like music. Anyway, my youngest great-grand is back there. Will you walk up here, Edie? She isn't really backward, not at all.
You're gonna be embarrassed.
This cute little person, that's Noel, or they say Noel. That's my youngest great-grand, and he's Puyallup, and he has a future. He has some income, and he has a school that's his to look forward to, and a clinic that's his to look forward to, and our tribe came through all this. You know, came back from not even existing, from just having 174 members that were still alive from the 29 roll. I mean, our tribe got up and has a future, and we get cuter every year. Puyallups are adorable. This little baby is a bright, shining example of how cute we are. And are going to be. And when we were doing that interview with Clara and I, they kept bursting in saying, "You've got to get out of here, you've got to get out of here, they're going to blow the building up, they're going to blow the building up." We were like, just cool it. Clara is busy. She's writing something, it's going to be important. And, that's where we were. Is where the new administration building is that the tribe has. We've gone from our very first office ever, which was a teeny tiny little 2-room brick house with a outlaw and a little bathroom, to this amazing big glass building where everybody has enough space to work and they don't have to drive between the little rented offices. They really have the space to get something done. And they might even get something done. I don't think there's much left to do, except they need some water so they can do clams and oysters and plant some geoducks, you know, stuff like that. But a lot of the groundwork got laid, and I'm really happy to be able to say that we left them something good to work with, just something good to build on. And they're going to have to keep fighting. This little baby has got many tasks ahead that have to do with climate and floods and
It's happening.
like Gary and I said, it's around people doing the revolution. We've got to stop that revolution. Now we're on the other side completely. But I'm here, and if you buy books, I'll sign them, and I think I've said way more than enough.
Thank you.
I have a few announcements. Should I switch to the Ramona mic?
Christine.
Okay, there we go. So just a few announcements before we break for the book sales. If you've gotten excited about Radical Women through this program, we hope you will join us. We have a manifesto, the Radical Women Manifesto, that talks about our history, ideas, and how we operate. So that's the complete guide. And also do sign up on the mailing list up front to learn about mailing meetings and activities and how you can get involved. The mailing list is also for the Freedom Socialist Party, our sister organization. And together we are going to be having a contingent at the No Kings March here in Seattle. So if you'd like to connect with us, you can talk to Doreen. There's raising her hand. She's figuring out our meeting spot, and but we'll be down there at Seattle Center with banners and signs. You also, more about the Freedom Socialist Party is in a small booklet called Socialist, Feminism, and the Revolutionary Party, which I'm sure we have plenty of copies in the bookstore. We'll match you up with one if you'd like to read that. It shows the political tradition that the party comes from. And we also do put out the Freedom Socialist nonstop since Clara interviewed Ramona. It's still coming out. And Suki Wolf back there is selling copies. It covers information from around the globe and always focuses on the fight that people are putting up. So that's it for the formal part of our evening. We have books here. We're going to have some people come up to help you purchase. And we take Venmo, we take checks, we take cash. And Ramona will be signing books for you.